round, all of those things. Hello Facebook, hello YouTube, very nice to have you back here with me if you are watching me live on a Wednesday. It's a Wellbeing Wednesday, so I was just saying to our friends here on Instagram that we're going to take a deep dive into an amazing mineral, magnesium. And this is something that I've been talking about a lot actually over the last year or more, because it's so incredibly effective at helping us sleep. It's really good for anxiety, all those issues that we might have been suffering more from over the last year or more. So I'm going to be joined by the founder of Better You, which is a supplement company that I really like actually, and looking at different ways to take magnesium, both through the skin, which is really interesting, and also obviously supplements as well. But also got a few ideas for Father's Day coming up. Yeah, Father's Day, a little bit later in June. And just to say, well done to all of you who downloaded my free e-guide. Wasn't that so great? That was thanks to our friends at Epsom, who sponsored the guide for, I think, 72 hours or something as a free download. So well done if you were able to get that free. I know I've had lots and lots of comments about it already, because our brain health is just so important. You know, we tend not to think about our brains, don't we, because we can't see them. But they're there, obviously, doing all the things that they should all the time. And we need to protect them, particularly as we age. And so this guide talks a lot about dementia and Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and just the aging brain in general, as well as right the way through from actually, you know, pre-birth and beyond. I printed mine out so you can see it's actually a really big guide. It's got lots of recipes and ideas and lots of stats and links to things and studies and all sorts. Anyway, it is, excuse me, it is available now as an ebook. So if you want it, I'm very sorry it's no longer free, but it's $4.99, which is the same price as all my other e-guides. So there are lots of e-guides up on the Earle Wellbeing website. There's e-guides for healthy menopause, the truth about HRT, which is a really deep dive into HRT, all the ins and outs of that if you're interested. Plus there's one on gut health, which is the happier, flatter tum. Lots of information there on IBS, IBD, probiotics, all the questions that I get asked all the time, basically. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to put them all in an ebook with links and references and support and all those things. I've also got Stronger, Slimmer You, which is the one that I'm using at the moment to get fit and ready for summer. And what else have we got? Oh my goodness, I lost track. There are so many. Anyway, do go and take a look. And I know that Martha is with us on Facebook. Hi Martha, thank you very much for being with us. And I know that you will pop links on. You're already doing it. Oh my goodness. Martha's so sharp, she's so fast. And anyway, she will pop the links up on Facebook to the things that I talk about, because obviously we can do that on Facebook. If you're watching me on YouTube, just go to lizarwellbeing.com. You'll find all the links there, the podcast, the articles, the references, and all the affiliate links. For example, if I talk about a Liz Loves offer code, if you want to get discounts. Here on Instagram, hopefully you know the drill by now, just go to my bio. So that's the few little lines of blurb about me. And if you click on that, you'll see there's something called Linktree. It's blue. It comes up as a few lines of blue type. If you click on that, that's like a magic tree of information, because then we put all the links, as much as we can anyway, we put it on there. So let's get going. Hi. So yeah, lots of questions about magnesium already. My goodness. Yeah, Lisa Mosconi. Yeah, interesting. That's all about brain health. And actually, I talk about that and a lot about her research with estrogen and also others who are researching in that field. And I did a podcast with Dr. Is it Sabrina Brennan? That's up on the Earle Wellbeing website as well, talking about the importance of estrogen for the female brain, especially. But let's crack on. Let's see if we have Andrew in the house. I'm going to get my notes up here with all my links and things, because I've got lots to talk about, particularly in relation to sleep after my chat with Andrew, so I mustn't forget to do that. Let's see if we are Andrew Thomas, Better You. Here we go. Hopefully that will work. I think you have to accept me, Andrew, and then with a bit of luck we'll be able to chat. Apologies on Facebook, you won't be able to see my guest because I can only split the screen on Instagram, but you will be able to hear. And as I always say, it's all about content. It doesn't really matter what we look like, it's what we sound like. Isn't that right, Andrew?
Hello, Liz.
Hi, let me turn you up a bit.
Afternoon, I should say.
Very nice.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I've just turned you up. I've
Great.
just, yeah, I just was telling everybody about you and about Better You, and how today we're going to look at
Fantastic.
particularly at magnesium.
I'm looking forward to it, Liz. Looking forward to it.
Very much so. And you've got a really interesting backstory, haven't you, when it comes to magnesium and why you feel so passionately about it. Can we talk a bit about that?
Yeah, you're right. I'm pretty evangelical about the importance, the nutritional importance of magnesium. I mean, my backstory is actually the reason why I set up Better You in the first place. I'm actually asthmatic. I have been asthmatic since the age of 12. I've been on steroid-based inhalers ever since then, throughout school, university, etc., early life. And it was actually, I used to have a design agency, a marketing agency, and I was working for Wrangler Jeans, filming a rodeo in North Carolina, and I met a biochemist in a bar called Juan Rosello. We got talking, and the subject of my asthma came up, and he said, "Andy, if you need to get off your steroid-based inhalers, you need to increase your magnesium intake and reduce your calcium intake. As simple as that." The conversation was a little bit more engrossed than that. And I said, just talk me through this.
I've never heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, basically what he said was, look, you should maybe reduce your calcium intake. Definitely reduce your calcium intake, reduce your dairy intake, and elevate your magnesium. And he said, look, I've been using a transdermal form of magnesium, so a magnesium brine that you apply onto the skin. He said, with great effect for sports people. And I'd be more than happy to drop a sample off at your hotel tomorrow morning. So I said, fantastic. He duly did that, and I flew home with a litre bottle of what was magnesium chloride. And every day I was pouring it into my hand and splashing it over onto my upper arms, my shoulders, my chest, which is where he told me to put it. After a month, I ran out. So I phoned Juan and I said, look, I don't know whether it's psychosomatic, but I feel much more flexible. I was carrying a lot of stress in my shoulder areas. And my upper back. I said, I feel amazing. And I'm sure I'm not using my inhaler as much. And he said, Andy, this is absolutely what will happen.
Just through applying it through the skin?
Absolutely. And we'll go into the science behind that in a moment. But I said, look, where can I buy this? And he said, well, it's not commercially available. Basically, it's coming from a mine in northern Holland who, they found that they had an incredibly pure source of magnesium and thought the nutritional world would be interested in it. And the vast number of the samples that they sent out to all these doctors and practitioners and sports therapists ended up in the bin. So they're all thrown away, but Juan embraced it, understood it, and used it. And so he said, if you want some more, I'd fly to the mine. So I did. I got on a plane. I flew to a place called Vindam in northern Holland. I met the mine managers, they've got two managers, Bert and Dave, both geologists. I met the mine owners, NedMag, and it's part owned by the Dutch government as well. And at the end of that day, I became the health arm of the mine. I flew back to the UK and thought, well, I better set up a company.
That's how Better You started?
Better You was started because I needed to get magnesium in this form to the world.
Do you know, that is amazing. I associate Better You with vitamin D because that's the sprays I think that hopefully we all know and love now, and I've been using legitimately here for years. And I hadn't realised that actually your backstory was really related to magnesium and asthma. What kind of clinical evidence is there? Because obviously people watching this, they may have asthma or have members of their family with asthma. Are there clinical studies on this now? I mean, what's
a number.
The view?
The interesting thing is, within our sphere, so nutritional supplementation, a lot of the research, the big clinical research, is undertaken by the drug companies,
sure.
and because they have very little interest in the likes of vitamin
not
D,
much incentive,
magnesium.
is there? Yeah.
No, so it's this whole area is reliant on companies like Better You to do the research. Now, actually, we've done a fair bit of research looking at transdermal absorption and linking with calcium absorption. Magnesium has been known for a very long time to be associated with over 350 biochemical actions. One of its primary actions is to solubilize calcium. And this is really going back to that conversation in the bar I had with Juan, and he says, try and reduce calcium and elevate magnesium. And basically, our species grew, and if you look at a traditional African or traditional Asian diet, you can see historically what our mineral intake was like, with a parity between calcium and magnesium. Magnesium, source of magnesium, we're talking about whole grain, nuts, dark green vegetables, because magnesium's involvement in chlorophyll means that it's everything dark green is high in magnesium.
Dark green, okay, good to know. Mm-hmm.
And calcium was really restricted to fresh fruit and vegetables as well. We got all the calcium we needed from mother's milk, and then thereafter it was a healthy diet. It was really our adoption of dairy and the prevalence of dairy, particularly in a Western diet, that's elevated our calcium intake to beyond anything our species has really been used to.
So it's taking that balance, isn't it? Because it's all about balance. Because I have to say, I am a big fan of dairy. And particularly cultured milk, yogurt, kefir, all of those fermented, lactobacillus group of probiotics. And also, I think a lot of women, because my audience is mostly, I would say, midlife women, are going to be concerned about things like bone density and bone strength and increasing calcium and vitamin D together. So isn't it about the balance of all of these?
It is about the balance, and I have to say, there used to be a time when you look at bone density and a GP would automatically say you just need more calcium. I am so far against this. It is about balance. Everything has to be seen holistically. Basically, calcium is insoluble. If you look, I used to lecture at the Institute for Optimal Nutrition, and magnesium was something that I talked about a lot. And you can grind up a piece of chalk, calcium carbonate, and that's the form of calcium we'll ingest. It's completely insoluble. You need the presence of magnesium in order to put it into solution. Without that, it then basically it comes out of solution and flows around the body quite dangerously. It's then the vitamin D that helps to direct that calcium into the bone. Okay, so you're absolutely right. Bone density is massively important, and our skeleton structure is probably about as dense as it's going to be after the age of 22. And thereafter, we're maintaining it.
Absolutely.
But we don't really have a problem with calcium intake. It's the wherewithal to absorb the calcium. And this is really where the magnesium and vitamin D and K2 come into action.
So the K2. For me, go on.
For me, so for me, you talked about fermented foods earlier. K2, its source is food fermentation. And, we've stopped fermenting foods as soon as the fridge entered our kitchens. Food stops fermenting.
Doesn't it? It also keeps things fresh. Let's be fair. It stops the growth of the bad bugs.
We don't die of food poisoning. You're absolutely right. I'm not against fridges, and I'm not against dairy at all. All these things are important, but they have to be seen in their context. If we have a dairy intake a calcium intake, primarily because of dairy, that's around about 1,200 milligrams. And we have a magnesium intake that's around about 150 milligrams. That imbalance is insidious, and it will have problems in later life. So if you're going to keep on that calcium intake, keep on that dairy increase, then you're going to have to elevate magnesium. And there are so many things, not just our decline in dietary magnesium, which is very, very prevalent. I think we've at the turn of the 1900s, we probably had around about 500 milligrams of magnesium coming into our diet. Now it's around about 125, 150, and declining.
Wow.
Okay, you process food, you cut magnesium out. That's just a fact. You take whole grain and you turn it into white flour. You'll probably lose about 80% of the magnesium. If you take molasses, and you turn it into white processed sugar, you'll lose 98% of the magnesium. Any processing will start to decline the nutrient value, but magnesium seems to drop out dramatically. But there's also the fact that magnesium is not really in the food chain to start with. We no longer leave fields fallow. So where we used to allow our fields to regenerate naturally, we just don't do that. It's all about yield now. It's not really about quality. And therefore we artificially fertilize. And magnesium is not prevalent in artificial fertilizer. Calcium is, but not magnesium. The other area would be prescription drugs. Now, I can say this from a personal level. Anything steroid-based will inhibit the body's retention of magnesium. So, anything to do with steroids. But also the biggest two over-the-counter drugs are PPIs, so proton pump inhibitors, so antacids. And they dramatically restrict a hydrochloric acid, which means that that lower acid level in the gut means that calcium goes out of suspension very quickly. So if you don't have enough magnesium in the gut, then you've got a problem with calcium as well. And the last thing is obviously, you mentioned it, your age of life, and when your estrogen levels drop. As soon as your estrogen levels drop, your ability to retain and hold on to magnesium declines. So many factors within our life stage or modern life that is conspiring to decline our magnesium intake. And you could say this for a lot of nutrients, but I don't think any, and we've mentioned vitamin D, and vitamin D is a different area, massively important, but I don't think any are quite as far-reaching as the mineral magnesium. It's our third most abundant mineral in our body.
We never even really think about it, do we? I mean,
it's part of our physical makeup.
It's not talked about. People go, calcium for your bones and vitamin C for colds, and you might throw in a bit of zinc or whatever. But magnesium is almost like a little Cinderella mineral for something that's so crucial and so important and so under-available in our diets now.
Well, I think it's directly associated with around about 350 biochemical actions in the body. It's associated with thousands of others. As I say, directly linked to calcium. So where calcium is the stiffener, the hardener, nature's strengthener, magnesium is nature's relaxant, and they work. They're in antithesis, but they have to work in parity. Have to work equally. And so if you imagine a muscle to contract means that calcium will enter the muscle cell, and that cell then will contract the muscle. It is the presence of magnesium in the cell which then pushes the calcium out of the cell to allow the muscle to relax. Right,
so that's why
and that cell, and that cell will then repair itself, and that happens millions of times a day. But that cell is the same for a nerve cell, or a skin cell, or a brain cell. Right. It all requires magnesium on the inside and calcium on the outside to help the chemical reaction. And if you haven't got enough magnesium in your cells, then you will struggle with cellular health. And I think that this decline of cellular health and the toxicity of cellular health, I think underpins an awful lot of modern diseases. We're talking about chronic fatigue, we're talking about fibromyalgia, where it doesn't really have a home. I think cellular degeneration and cellular toxicity would be the start point of all those ailments.
Well, I know that Lily, my eldest daughter, who has a very chronic, a chronic and acute, autoimmune issue and serious pain. One of the things that she was put on quite early on was high strength magnesium. Now, the couple of questions coming in here, particularly, you talk about going to the mine to get this particular form of magnesium. I've looked a lot, as my audience here knows, at various magnesium supplements over the last year or two. What are the different forms and what are the best forms to take? Because you see so many different types of magnesium labelled.
Yeah. I mean, I first of all, I have to say I applaud anyone who has identified magnesium as a mineral of concern and would want to elevate it in their diet and supplement it. Yeah. First of all, food first. Yeah. So elevate magnesium in your diet. So whole grains, nuts, good sources, anything dark green, as we said, cruciferous vegetables.
Yeah.
Dark
So,
green vegetables,
would that
very,
be
very
things
important.
like supplements, like you can take chlorella or spirulina?
Chlorella, absolutely. They'll have a good level of magnesium in them as a supplement form, very, very much so. And as with all animals that eat vegetables, we graze, and the best way really to take magnesium is a little bit often as a grazing element, because as I said, magnesium is a natural relaxant. So therefore, digestively can be seen as a laxative, and it has a laxative effect. Yep. If you take too much in one go, it'll basically pass straight through. Little bit often is the best way, which is why I think some supplementary regimes aren't necessarily designed as well as they could be. Right. So food first, definitely. Yep. And then if you're looking to boost, to supplement your diet, then if you look at magnesium is always made available in a compound form. And I'm sure, Liz, you've talked to your followers about the compound. So you're looking at magnesium oxide, magnesium citrate, magnesium malate, magnesium sulfate, gluconate, etc., magnesium chloride. It's basically the magnesium ion linked to a compound. And each of those compounds will have varying sizes or degrees of magnesium. Mm-hmm. Magnesium oxide is probably the one that we used to have as the go-to compound, because that has the most amount of magnesium. In magnesium oxide, you have 60% elemental magnesium within it. And other forms will have lower levels. So magnesium chloride, which is what I would only use and what we have focused on for 15 years now, actually only has 12% magnesium. But here's the thing, before we go into supplements, here's the thing. The bioavailability or the absorption of magnesium within its compound form is not about marketing, it's not about opinion, it's about chemistry. Yeah. And it's about the bond between the magnesium ion and its compound. Now, that mineral bond is something called the stability constant, okay? So it's measured and in that measurement, the lower that measurement, the weaker the bond. So what you're looking for is a compound that can release the magnesium as quickly and as easily as possible. Right. So that's what you're looking for. And so magnesium oxide, for example, has a stability constant of around about 3.8. Anything above 4 is insoluble. So it would take you forever to elevate your cellular magnesium levels using magnesium oxide. So we used to use this at the NHS, we used to use it all over, and we realised that actually it was actually pretty difficult to elevate magnesium levels, even those are no. So you're looking for lower forms. I think some of the lowest forms you're looking at magnesium malate, citrate's not too bad, it's about 1.7. Gluconate's not too bad. The lowest stability constant of all the compounds is magnesium chloride. Now, magnesium chloride has a stability constant of about 0.12. So it's that bond is almost free. It's fractious. In fact, you may have had, Liz, our magnesium flakes. If you put our magnesium flakes, and they're bath flakes. Love so the flakes. It's not Epsom salts, which is magnesium sulfate. This is magnesium chloride. If you put those flakes on your table, such a biochemistry lesson. My head is fizzing. I know. so magnesium chloride. You put our flakes on the table. By the end of this conversation, they'd be wet. And by the end of the day, that would be a pool of water. It's that unstable. So the bond is that weak. That is what you're looking at. So for magnesium chloride, which is by far the most bioavailable, the most absorbable form of magnesium you can get, if you ingest it, then that will be a very, very quick way of elevating magnesium. But applying it to the skin, this process of little but often, is the most effective way of elevating cellular magnesium outside of a hospital environment. Now, you were asking about clinical trials and stuff. I've recently just co-authored the world's first clinical study looking at transdermal magnesium, so our magnesium spray, as an alternative to intravenous.
I've got some of your lovely sprays here.
And subcutaneous injections for patients with shortened bowel and colostomy bags. So this is a major... Oh, well done, yes.
I've got them all here. I love them.
Fantastic. So, we're talking about a little bit often, applying it onto the skin, massaging it in, and we know that actually the physicality of massaging it in will increase the absorption rate of elemental magnesium.
Okay.
And what you're trying to do is you're going to get magnesium into the bloodstream.
Yes.
That's the key.
Yeah.
And this is really the whole principle behind Better You, which is why we've developed the oral sprays, as you mentioned before. Where you have to involve the gut, absolutely. Food first, you need the gut. But where you don't need the gut, or it's better to bypass the gut and get the nutrient into the bloodstream as quickly as possible. That's what we specialize in. And for magnesium, we're talking about magnesium chloride applied to the skin. It breaks down immediately, and that mineral then is absorbed through the skin into what's called this interstitial fluid. It's like our blubber underneath the skin. We used to be sea mammals.
Got a bit of that.
A long, long time ago. Some of us have got more than others, Liz, I'm sorry to say. And we will hold that as a reservoir. And then, feed that elemental magnesium into the bloodstream. And so anyone who's used this product will know, and we have a lot of sports ambassadors and a lot of sports affiliates, will know that the speed of uptake of magnesium is insane.
Really?
It's so quick. So if any of your followers struggle with restless leg, or sort of nighttime cramping, take any magnesium form orally, it's not going to stop that. It's going to take you an age to
right. I get like restless legs, which I know can be a sign of.
In America, they
magnesium.
call it Charlie horse, but restless leg syndrome here. So RLS. You apply magnesium directly to your upper legs and mainly it'd be the calves. In lower extremities.
I will. I'm absolutely going to do that
before bed, and then if you feel like it's cramping, immediately apply it. You will find that reduces or completely eradicates cramping immediately.
I wonder about Mike, because my youngest son, he's 11, and he gets real growing pains because he's growing. He's going to be a tall boy, and he sometimes he wakes up in the night in agony. I wonder if I could give him a little spray of magnesium before bed.
No, absolutely. I mean, definitely. I mean, magnesium is like I say, it's fundamental. It's part of our physical makeup. In fact, I've recently had a little boy. He's when children, when infants are born, they're born with more magnesium than they are calcium. And magnesium, being the relaxant, it allows them to get out of the birth canal safely without breaking all the bones. And then we obviously increase calcium through mother's milk and then through dietary forms and to strengthen the skeleton structure. But magnesium is fundamental. So during pregnancy, my wife's been on magnesium throughout pregnancy to help relax muscles. It's so safe. So important.
Is it?
And absolutely, and both my children. I've got a 4-year-old and a 6-month-old and a 26-year-old. All three, in fact, use magnesium.
Yeah. So in terms of using it, basically, I think your message, if I'm right, is that we need to use it both inside and out. So obviously, increasing magnesium in our diet, through food, through looking at supplements, and using supplements that contain a broad range of these different magnesium compounds?
No, I don't think a broad range is necessarily helpful. The trouble is what people don't tend to tell you is the stability constant. Which ingredients should we be looking for on an internal supplement? So it's magnesium chloride. For me, if you're looking at the speed of absorption of the body, it's magnesium chloride every step of the way. But if you happen to have magnesium as a supplement and you want to take it, then you're looking at, citrate's pretty good. You're looking at malate, gluconate. Those are the ones that are probably on the lower of the bond strength,
which is a good thing. Yes,
that's a good thing.
It's a good thing. So lower is good for that.
Yes, exactly. So you need the weaker the bond, the better.
The better. And what sort of dosage would we be looking at, do you think?
So your RDA is 350 milligrams, but you're going to get magnesium from your diet. But there's no upper limit. You're not going to you can't overdose on magnesium. As I say, it's part of your physical makeup.
Some people say that they take as much as they can tolerate before getting really loose bowel movements, and that's
Yeah.
kind of the sign that you've reached your threshold. Is that right?
Yeah, you can do that. I mean, me personally, I wouldn't want to go down that route.
No.
Apply it onto the skin.
Okay.
As I say, for the last 15 years, that's all I've done. I mean, I've been, asthma-free now for 11, 12 years. I've been
That's amazing.
inhaler-free
What
for
does
12
your
years.
doctor say when you go back to your GP and say, actually, I don't need my inhaler anymore because I'm rubbing on magnesium? I mean, what's the reaction to that?
Well, the reaction is initially incredulous, and now my doctor is someone who we use on a regular basis with Better You. It's you very, very quickly get some GP friends when they understand what you do. I visited a doctor recently in Leeds. He's got a practice in Dubai and one in Leeds, who's a skin health doctor, who I was so impressed because when I went to his waiting room, he had magnesium water, so a magnesium-rich water to drink when he's there. And he knew that magnesium was important, massively important. So he would like to create a range of skin-focused products with us. A lot of GPs now, a lot of doctors are understanding that they've understood magnesium has been important, but they've realised now that it's not just any form is good. It's got to be the bioavailable form.
So in terms of
as I say, you've got to use it on the skin. I'm not just trying to blow my own trumpet, but if there are people who would only want to take a tablet or capsule, great, fine. That's up to them, and it might be part of a multivit, whatever. So great. I mean, so do look at the form, the source of it. But if you are passionate about elevating magnesium levels, if you're serious about it, and I would urge that everybody considers it, then really it is. Take that if you want to, but also take magnesium chloride in a transdermal form. So apply it onto the skin be religious.
What's the difference
about it
with efficacy between using the sprays and soaking in a bath with your lovely flakes?
So, as far as I'm concerned, no matter how people use magnesium, I'm just really pleased they use it.
Just use it, that's the message.
Please, it's part of, it's so important and so vital. But there's an absorption ratio. I'm throwing a lot of science here.
That's fine. This is being recorded, so anybody... Just listen up and sit back and enjoy the chat and then replay it. To get your little Earle Wellbeing notebook out. I'm going to have to start making pens now as well. And then just sit, or pencils, and just jot it all down because it is really fascinating. I'm going to be replaying this for sure.
When you're looking at mineral absorption through the skin, there's something called fixed law of permeability. Okay, right. So when you're looking at a bath, you want that bath. That bath is a big of water, 80, 90
a lot of water.
Liters,
I like a really nice deep bath. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Well, good for you. So you're looking at, no matter how much magnesium we put in there, you're looking at a relatively low concentration. But there, you're looking at the surface area being your entire body.
Yeah, because you're soaking in it, aren't you? All of it.
15, 20 minutes, yeah. So a fixed law of permeability is the concentration, the time of exposure, and the amount of skin exposed. When you're looking at the sprays that you are holding up here, you've got a spray that you can spray onto your arm, a couple of sprays up around there, a couple of sprays onto your shoulder, a couple of sprays here. You're looking at a relatively short area, small area, but high concentration and low time exposure.
So smaller amount, but more concentrated.
Absolutely. So, for me, it will be a combination. We have some lovely skin lotions, body butters.
Yeah, I used it. In fact, I'm going to tell you. I don't know what you think about this. You're probably going to throw up your hands in horror. But I'm going to tell you while you're live with me. Anyway,
tell me.
So I've been using. I love this. This is the magnesium body butter.
Body butter. Yes.
You can see how much I love it because it's nearly all gone. And that's not a hint. I'm very happy to go back and buy some more. But what I've been doing is, I won't do it now here, but I have been taking a little bit of this because I love it on my legs because it's so rich. You know how we've got very few sebaceous glands below the knee, which is why we get such flaky skin on our shins. So I mix this with a few drops of this. This is a tanning drop, which my lovely makeup artist friend Kerry September told me about. It's called Tan Lux the Body. So these are tanning drops. So I mix the two together and I create this kind of creamy, moisturising, magnesium-rich self-tan for my legs.
I have to say, that's genius. B, I'm really disappointed we're recording this, because that's a great business idea, and that would be great. You know?
Absolutely. Well, I throw that out there for free.
Well, how interesting! But it is quite interesting, because all our absorption data started with my involvement with Dr. Charles Hurd and his team. He's head of pharmacy and pharmacology at Cardiff University, and I went to Charles to investigate the absorption of magnesium, because I didn't want everybody to think I was completely insane. I thought, well, there's got to be, because no one's tested it, so I thought someone's got to test this. So Charles, a brilliant guy, and a rich theme of undergraduates and doctorate students who are desperate for trials, and so he trialed it and said, yeah, absolutely, okay, magnesium ions go through the skin and are uptake at a cellular level into the body, which is wonderful to hear. And so that was published. That was a published trial, which is great. And I said, right, I've got some great new business ideas. I thought, well, it tingles. For those who've got relatively low magnesium levels, the speed of absorption is so great, and it's a crystalline substrate, so a magnesium crystal basically coming through the pores, it can irritate the skin. And so a lot of people go, oh no, I've got a rash. It really tingles. It really irritates. I must be allergic to magnesium, which is completely insane. Because
so what does it mean then if your skin tingles when you put it on?
It's the speed of absorption. It's basically saying your body is so desperate for magnesium.
No, because it's tingled on me before.
Yeah. Yeah, you can vary your magnesium levels throughout the day.
No way.
Throughout your life. Yes, it's that. If you, for example, we deal with a lot of elite sports people, and marathon runners and cyclists are perfect for this. They understand magnesium. They know that to produce energy, you need a lot of magnesium. It's not about glucose production, burning glucose to make energy. It's about burning oxygen to make energy, and that's what magnesium does. Magnesium facilitates ATP, adenosine triphosphate, your body's ability to burn oxygen to make energy. Very, very efficient way of producing energy. We're very good at it as a species. When your magnesium levels drop, your body struggles to burn oxygen to make energy, and it then uses the glucose source, which is why a quick fix for energy is you have a lot of glucose. But it's a very inefficient way, and the byproduct of that is lactic acid. Okay. And so you'll find that you get a quick burst of energy, but you'll suffer. You will pay for that at the end. And lactic acid is something that's really quite problematic for sports people. It's like having a fire at home, and you decide to burn paper. You've got this quick burst. It doesn't last long, and you've got all this ash. It may it'll put the fire out eventually, So it's a bit like that. But so
if your skin is tingly when you put it on, that means that you're low. So presumably,
and they will have low levels at the end of that race. Very low levels.
But presumably, if you keep applying it, then it's going to stop because your levels will be supported. This is little but often, and by often I mean forever. This is something like vitamin D. Yeah, daily. It's like estrogen. You need it. It doesn't bioaccumulate, does it?
Absolutely. So we use it all the time, every second of the day. We're using it for our mental structure. We're using it to control temperature in our bodies. We're using it for our muscle function. Our biggest muscle and most important muscle is our heart. Yeah. So we're using it in smooth muscle relaxation. So that's we use magnesium.
I take mine twice a day. I have a capsule that I do take, or a supplement, depends what I'm trying, in the morning, when I take a lot of my vitamins and things kind of mid-morning with a bit of kind of high-fat food. And then I always now take a bit of magnesium, and now I'm going to have my magnesium bath as well in the evening, about an hour before bed. And it just, honestly, it makes my sleep so much better.
It's so important, but if you do get restless leg, you really need to consider applying it onto your legs before.
Yeah, I will. I'm going to keep one of these. Which would be the best one? Do you think Magnesium Muscle?
No, there's
there's Magnesium Joint. Would that be good for me? What's the difference between the two?
There's Magnesium Sleep. It's really the additions that we add in. So Magnesium Muscle's got rosemary and lemon, natural cold pressed oils from just outside Valencia in Spain, which is fantastic. The sleep one is probably what I would.
I've actually got that upstairs.
Suggest.
I just realised I haven't got that downstairs because I've already got it in a bedroom.
Yeah, and that's chamomile and lavender.
Lovely.
That's actually from our farmer partners down in the south of England. Again, cold pressed. They're beautiful. I mean, they're wonderful.
Amazing.
So that is what I recommend. But despite all that, it's the magnesium that you need. So any of them will be applying, sure. will be delivering magnesium chloride through the skin.
I'm going to be rubbing it on my legs too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, magnesium sulfate, Epsom salts. A lot of people use that in baths. Great.
Yeah. So what's the story on Epsom salts then?
Well, you'll just struggle. I mean, Epsom salts is a good form of magnesium. You'll struggle to elevate cellular magnesium levels by applying that onto your skin in a bath. It's a good skin relaxant. Yeah. It'll help you, like a warm bath, it'll help you relax.
It helps the muscles relax, doesn't it? But I guess how much of that is the hot water?
If you want to elevate cellular magnesium levels, then, as I said, it's all about the ability of your body to take up the magnesium. Magnesium sulfate has a stronger bond than magnesium chloride. So the two. So I'd always say, Better You Magnesium Flakes is not Epsom salts. Everybody links it all because it's a bath flake. It's not the same. It's not the same. So if you want to use Epsom salts, that's great. Good for you. And it will be very relaxing, but it won't elevate magnesium levels as effectively as magnesium chloride would in the bath. Definitely.
Very interesting. I'm just going to touch very briefly on vitamin D before we go, just to say that you have very kindly given us an affiliate code that the Liz loves, so off everything on your website, and not including the test kits or the bundles because they're already discounted. That's betteryou.com. So you just use Liz loves, okay, all in capitals, and that gets you 15% off all these lovely things. Can we talk very briefly about vitamin D, because I know that's what we talked about when we first chatted here, and I love the sprays. I've got sprays, literally for all my children. I've got, my middle son actually has just got his last A-level paper today. Please, come on.
Good luck.
So good, much good luck. I've sent him messages this morning, and I think his paper.
I'm sure it won't be luck. It will all be preparation, so it'll be fine.
Absolutely. Prepare. But I've been filling him up with all sorts of things, including magnesium, to keep him calm and to help him sleep. And vitamin D as well. And what I really like, the ones that I look for personally on your website, are the ones that have K2 combined with them. So how important is that when we're using vitamin D to have it with the K2? Because you mentioned that in relation to magnesium as well.
Yes, I'm so glad you raised that. That's so important. You often see K2 linked to vitamin D because it's part of that process of solubilizing calcium and getting it into the bone.
Right.
So it's this holy trinity of bone strength, calcium absorption, which is magnesium, vitamin D, and K2. You do not need K2 to absorb vitamin D. Right. They are two completely separate processes. Okay. But K2 is very, very important in helping the body flush out loose calcium that might be as calcium plaque in the arteries and helping to get it into the bone. So the three of them work very, very hard at solubilizing calcium, sweeping up loose calcium from soft tissue as cholesterol plaque in our arteries, and via the soft muscle, and getting it into the bone. And you were so right. You said at the start of this about making sure that your followers understand about maintaining bone density. Yeah. It's so important.
For sure.
We work a lot with the Royal Osteoporosis Society.
Yeah, well, I'm one of their ambassadors.
Well,
so there we are.
And it's so important.
Yeah, it really is. For midlife women and beyond, it's
so vitally important. Yeah. Yes, it's so vitally important. It's so easy to overlook this. If you look at traditional Asian diets, and it used to be Mediterranean diets before they became more westernized, and African diets, you'll often find that magnesium and fermented foods will start to play a higher role in dietary intake as later in life. So, you'll have more magnesium-rich and K2 fermented food-rich diets.
Yeah, because of course you get K2 in fermented foods, don't you? That's another interesting source.
That's right. So every society has maintained a fermented food, really. My wife's German, so you've got sauerkraut there.
Absolutely, love sauerkraut. Natto, and kimchi, the Asian pickle.
Yes, absolutely. I'm not too sure what we have in the UK.
Well,
pickled eggs.
What did you say?
Pickled eggs, maybe.
Pickled
I don't know.
eggs. Yeah, I mean, we have apple cider vinegar. We have
Yeah.
things like
But it's not really
buttermilk.
prevalent.
Maybe.
Yes, but it's not really prevalent in our
It's not.
dietary
No,
intake.
you're right.
Whereas
Yogurt, obviously.
the other societies will
Yeah.
tend to have it as a mainstay,
Yeah,
as a central point.
as a staple.
We tend not to have that, and that's a real mistake, I think, for America and UK, where a Western diet has really lost the identity of these key nutrients, magnesium, vitamin D, and K2. And I think the insidious nature of their decline means that we are starting to put up with and then suffer from poor bone density, immune system problems, autoimmune system problems, things like that in later life.
Yeah. Andrew, we're going to have to stop there because I'm running out of time. It's so fascinating. I know so many people are actually going to be replaying this, pen and paper in hand. But I've certainly learned a lot, and I'm sure that everybody else has too.
I love our chats, Liz. I love them
seriously,
so much.
I learn so much every time, and I love your brand. We didn't even get to talk about your sustainability and all your ocean saving initiatives where you take plastics out of the ocean to make your packaging. I mean, the whole thing. That's why I love talking to you and helping to give a voice to Better You, because you really do take the time to do it well. So thank you.
Liz, thank you so much.
Let's talk again, yeah?
Definitely, I'd love that.
Oh, thank you. Stay well. Happy Wellbeing Wednesday.
Yes, you too, Liz.
Bye
Thank you
now.
so much again.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All the best.
All the best to you. You're going to have to leave me, otherwise I risk clicking it off for everybody. But, oh, wow. I just feel that I've been on like a kind of whirlwind biochemistry, nutrient lesson. Wasn't that just so interesting? Yes, lots of information here. There is a 15%. It's an affiliate code for Liz Loves. Okay, so all in capitals, LIZLOVES, Liz Loves. Across everything on the Better You website. They've got the vitamin D sprays with the K2. They've got the magnesium flakes. They've got the magnesium body sprays. I mean, so much. I also they have a very nice B12 spray. So if anybody is short on B12, so any vegans, plant-based eaters, vegetarians, I'm not, but I take B12 as well because it is absolutely fundamental for energy and mood and all of those things. So yes, now is your time to stock up. The only thing that code doesn't apply to are the kits, which is already discounted, and the tests, but everything else. Okay, so fascinating. Jane says, so interesting, my brain is aching so much to take in. I know, I'm going to be replaying that one. If your brain is aching, you may need to be rereading your new e-guide. This is Stay Sharp, Stay Sane. If you haven't yet got it, I'm sorry it's no longer free. I did do it free. We managed to do it free for 3 days. And we did tell everybody, so I hope you all got your newsletter that had the link to it on Friday. But this is now on the website, okay, with all the other e-guides like HRT and all of that. So it's a $4.99 download for now. Just a couple of things to finish off with. We were obviously talking about sleep and relaxation and the importance of that. So a couple of new things I just wanted to let you know about. I know many of you love Life Armor. I've talked about them before. They have these amazing adaptogenic herbs for balance and for sleep particularly. So I have Slumber drops beside my bed every night. I use my Slumber drops. I'm now going to be having my magnesium spray as well. I'm going to have this growing little list of things to help me get a really good night's sleep, because sleep is fundamental. Sleep for me has been really shifted up my priority list in recent years. But anyway, so for those of you who know and love the Life Armor Balance Drops and the Slumber Drops, and there is a code, it's 15% off, again with Liz Loves, they've just introduced these 2 new lovely things. And they've literally just arrived. So there are 2 of them. This is a balance tea. So I'll show you. Can you see in there? Look at that. Isn't that so, so pretty? And this has got organic, ethically sourced ingredients. The smell, just taking the lid off. Wish you could smell this. It's elderberry, something called tilia. Have to find out what that is. German chamomile, rose, and lemongrass. And what you can do, I've got my lovely rose mug here from Emma Bridgewater, is you can get these infusers from Life Armor. Aren't they pretty? So this was just 1 spoonful. It's actually been going all morning. I've had about 3-4 cups of tea already from it, from my infuser. You put this in and it's got little kind of just slits in there that let the tea out, the infused tea. Isn't that beautiful? So you could pop this into a teapot, you could pop it into a mug, wherever. And apparently it's also really nice cold, makes a really good refreshing drink, so you can have it as iced, you can keep it in the fridge in a little jug. So that is my balance one. And then in the evening, they've created this one. This is called Slumber Herbal Infusion. It says switch off, drift off. Love it, love that. And that's what this one looks like. Isn't that pretty? So this, what a lovely present for somebody. This says our Tranquil Blend contains lemon balm, passion flower, chamomile, lavender, valerian root and hops. So all those traditional herbs that help us sleep better and just take the edge off anxiety. You know, if you're feeling a bit anxious, maybe you have a stressy moment in the afternoon or whatever, just get a nice little cup of this going. So this again is 100% organic. Widely used ingredients for their health benefits, caffeine free. So there you go. Just thought I'd mention that because our affiliate code does also apply now to these delicious new teas. So thank you very much, everybody at Life Armour. Super kind of you to extend that for us. The other thing that has been extended, but you're going to have to be really quick, because this is just until the end of June, talking about sleep and switching off. If you are thinking about getting a new mattress or a new pillow or something, you know, supportive, using the NHS approved foam, the medical grade foam, then Mammoth Mattress, who are somebody that we worked with before at Earle Wellbeing, they sponsored our e-guide on sleep. So big thanks to everybody at Mammoth for doing that. They are giving us 40% off, okay, 40. So if you are thinking, do you know what, to get a better night's sleep, I am thinking that maybe now's the time to invest in a new mattress or a new pillow, then you just need to go to, there's a slightly different link, it's called Mammoth Perks. So that's their website, Mammoth Perks, as in like getting a bit of a perk, .co.uk, okay? So Mammoth Perks is where you need to go and just use your code LizLoves, 40% off anything that's on Mammoth Perks. So I don't want you to miss that because that is obviously an amazing deal. Lastly, I was going to mention something for Father's Day. Sorry, I'm racing slightly because we had so much chat about magnesium. But one of my favourite young brands, and I just want to give a shout out to these guys because they are an ethical clothing company. They're based both here in the UK and also in Kenya, and many of you will know that part of my heart belongs to Kenya. I've got family there, I've got a home in Kenya, which sadly I haven't been able to go to for a long time. My charity, Live Twice, has a lot of projects ongoing in Kenya. I cannot wait to be able to get back there. But one of the things that this young brand started, it's called Koi Clothing. And I actually grabbed these to show you. I got these out of Kit's cupboard because these are two of his favourite shirts. I just wanted to show them to you. Sadly, he's not here to model them. Maybe next week, when he's free of exams and he's back home again. So, oh, Kit, I hope it's going to go all right today for you, my darling. Anyway, I just wanted to show you this because I love this shirt. It's one of my favourite shirts that he wears. So it's a beautiful cotton white shirt. And this is the Kikoi fabric, the traditional Kikoi Kenyan fabric. And I love the way they've used it. So you get a glimpse of it inside the collar. And look, the detail under the collar there. Isn't that fab? And oh, you've got that already, the dog collar. Yeah, they do dog collars and the belts. Koi Clothing, honestly, they have given us a code as well. Let me just check what it is. 12% off, very precise, 12%. That's an affiliate code. So you just need to use Liz Loves, and their website is koiclothing.com. Can you see it, the label on here there, K-O-Y, koiclothing.com. So, and look at this, I think, is this called a placket, this bit? I'm not very good on my fashion terms. But all the way down here where the buttons are. And look, on the inside of the cuff, so you can either have it kind of quite conservative, or what Kit does, you know, is just kind of wears it turned back. Isn't that great? So if you are looking for something a little bit stylish, a little bit different, and you're supporting a great British, Kenyan, ethical fashion brand, they give 10% of their profits back to Kenyan community projects, environmental projects. Check them out. Go and have a look online. This is also... Actually, I'm not sure whether I prefer this dark blue or the white. I guess they wear them for different occasions. Kit wore this to a family barbecue recently. And honestly, it looks so good. So this is a lovely dark indigo blue linen, or cotton linen. I'm not sure exactly what the mix is. But look, again, it's got that beautiful turn back stripe cuff just looks so cool. You know, it's so understated. You're just looking really stylish, but you're not actually trying. You know, you've just thrown on a great shirt. And, oh, yeah, it's got a bit of detail here, you know. And a lovely story when people say, oh, that's interesting. You go, yeah, this is the Kenyan kikoi, traditionally made. So this one's a button down. So it's slightly different. So it's got the inside of the collar. Doesn't have the plackets. It's a bit more discreet. And then it's got the turn back cuff. Yeah, he is a stylish lad. The code should be working on Life Armour. Thank you very much, Jenny, for letting us know. Martha, I know that you're manning Facebook, or Amy, my digital editor. Could you get in touch, please, with Life Armour? Okay, because maybe we've jumped the gun. I know it's a new release, but it should be. Liz Loves, all in capitals, should be working to give you 15% off. So thank you for trying and thank you for letting us know. We'll make sure that is fixed. But there you go. Yeah, 12% off these lovely shirts. Have you got any plans for Father's Day? Maybe Father needs a spray of magnesium. That would be fun, wouldn't it? Yeah, particularly if anybody's a little bit sporty or struggling with their sleep or stress levels perhaps, or asthma. Obviously, I'm not making any medical claim. I didn't know that about magnesium. I didn't know that about what Andrew was saying about his own story and how that started over on a work trip to the States. And that chance meeting, isn't it so fascinating how you can have a chance conversation with a stranger in a bar who turns out to be a medic or a biochemist or interested and gives you something to try. And I love those stories about how brands are brought to life. And so often, the best brands, in my experience, are brought to life by people who've been solving problems of their own. They've seen a need and a requirement or something that they need in their own lives, and that's given them the motivation. It's not just, let's go and set up a brand and make some money. You know, there's a real integrity and an authenticity to it. So, oh, I love this. I love connecting with all these great British brands and just being able to shine a little spotlight on some special things. So, before I go, it's not quite last call, but it is almost last call for my magazine. So this is the current issue, May, June. I hope you're all subscribed, but if you're not and you want to get the next one, do check that your subscription isn't running out. So we are about to go to print for the next one, which will be July, August. The real high summer magazine. It's just great. I'm so enjoying reading and proofing the articles. I've got a couple that I've written there as well. I've got pictures from my time down in Devon. We've got a whole travel feature on that, bringing that to life with some of the stories and lots of good stuff. But you do have to be in it to win it, as they say. So you do need to be on the list and make sure that you are subscribed, because we are not now available in the shops. No, we took the decision last year to come out when there was all that hoo-ha with retail. So I know lots of you used to go to Marks and Spencer's or Waitrose and pick up your copy of the magazine, Sainsbury's, Tesco's, WH Smith's, you know, it was all over the shops. And now it's just on subscription. So it's really special, but you do have to subscribe. That means we can make it cheaper. So that's better. And we do free P&P in the UK. So if you haven't got your subscription or you'd like to gift your subscription, there are some really special deals. And talking about being in it to win it, last thing I promise before I go is I hope you have all entered the free competition and a chance to win. You know what I'm going to say, don't you? Chance to win something really, really super special. I'm so excited to hear who is going to win this. I've got to find it. Here we go. It is your Cell Return Mask. £1,899 worth of mask. Free to a lucky winner. So, yeah, again, it's on the website. You just have to click enter. That's it. Okay, so somebody's going to win it. Won't it be exciting to see who it is? If you want to buy one, there is the Liz Loves affiliate code. You can get 10% off everything on Cell Return UK. cellreturnuk.com, I think, is their website. I should know because it's my daughter's. Lily, where are we? Cell Return. Yeah, Cell Return, or one word, cellreturn.co.uk. And that includes the hair helmet, the hair hat, as my ex-husband calls it. He uses it all the time. He loves the hair hat. And that's the Alpha Ray, and also the main mask, and also those lovely little cleansing gadgets that she's got. Anyway, do go and take a look. That is it from me for today. I've got a new video going up on YouTube tomorrow. That's my vlog, so I hope you'll subscribe to the Liz Earle Wellbeing YouTube channel. I've course, coming up on Friday, Fabulous Friday. I'm not here live on Friday, but I am back with the Friday 5 podcast and also the newsletter that goes out free of charge. So make sure that you're signed up to that as well. If you head over to the website, enter the competition, sign up for the free newsletter, that will come to you every Friday afternoon, packed with things for the weekend. So no live on Friday, but I will be around in the ether. You can find me, and I'll also be on social media doing things on my Instagram as well. Thank you for being with me today. I hope you enjoy the replay. If you're watching this on catch up or replay with your notebook, don't forget Better You 15% off with that affiliate code with all those lovely things. Thank you. Bye, Alison. Bye-bye, Nikki. Bye-bye, Barbie. Bye-bye. Nice to see you all. Thank you. Have a lovely few days. See you again very soon. Lots of love. Bye-bye.